everyone, and welcome to Back at the Ranch, Expedition Online's after show. My name is Jessica Martin from season 1, and here with me we have Jess Jacobs from season 3. Welcome to the ranch.
Thanks. It's great to be back.
Yeah, we're excited to talk to you today. You've had a unique journey on season 3. So we're going to start from the beginning of your journey on day 0. And just tell me, what were your thoughts when you got dropped in a room with anyone? Was there anyone that stuck out to you? Just whatever was going through your head.
So I was really excited to be picked for Team Kelly, just because I've always looked up to her as a Survivor player. So she's an icon in her own right. So that excited me. But day 0, just meeting the cast, getting familiar with Discord was an interesting process. And then, of course, I was in Virginia Beach for like a whole day at that point. So I had a lot on my plate, but I was prepared for the game. The players underestimated me, but it was really nice to be able to get to know them the first day. Young Anthony stood out to me, just because it's hard not to notice him. He has a way with just making his presence in the room just larger than life, and I appreciate that about him. I loved Katie from the get-go. Just sometimes you meet people and you have that instant vibe with somebody. I felt that with her. So her and I have actually continued talking after the show, and I love her. She's awesome.
She is the best.
And then, of course, there's players that I wish I had been able to get to know. Like I never talked to Haley or Philip or David. So that was kind of a bummer, but I don't know, maybe someday.
Yeah, there's always still time to get to know people after. But so your party got picked. You ended up on Team Kelly. So you didn't end up with either of the two people you clicked with right off the bat. What did you think about the party you did end up with?
I didn't know what to think about them. For me, my perspective, it was a little awkward that night. Just everybody jumping into rooms, and I got lost. I was stuck at camp for a while because the rooms were full. So trying to get to know anybody on that level, like I had, wanted to do, was really difficult because they were all in rooms for a majority of the time. And that was a little frustrating because I think had I been able to communicate with anybody, especially like Bill, I felt like him and I would definitely work together and keep each other safe. But we just never really got that far.
Because, it's definitely hard when you lose the first challenge. Like getting to know people isn't really the first thing on everyone's mind. It's self-preservation. So obviously you ended up being the first person voted out, unfortunately. Prior to hearing that, did you think it was going to be you? Did you think it would land on someone else?
They led me to believe it would be Bambi. So that's why my vote went to Bambi, because that was what I was hearing briefly. But instinctively, I knew it was me. I'm really good at picking up on body language, and I have a pretty good intuition. And I was like, man, it's going to be me. Bill, I kind of know Bill through, like I said before, and when I did get into a room with him, his face turned bright red, and I'm like, dude, man, it's me. It's totally me.
Do you wish that you had either played your Destiny's token or pushed for Bambi harder?
I wish I would have spoken up more and definitely pushed, not necessarily for Bambi because I did like her. But like I said, they led me to believe that that's where the vote was going to go. So I didn't want to make waves night 1, night 0. I wanted to keep myself in with the majority in order to protect my own butt. And it just didn't work out that way. But by that point, I actually knew what was going on. So I just wanted to keep it classy and go with it. I
Yeah.
wish I had played the Destiny's token. I should have. I would have had a 1 in 5 chance of staying in the game, but I didn't, and everything worked out the way it was supposed to, you know?
Yeah, so you got a fun twist at the end of the night, finding out that you weren't actually done. You were going to Seclusion Lake, where the players voted out prior to the rendezvous would have a chance to re-enter the game. How surprised were you?
I was surprised. And that was really epic because one of my personal favorite seasons of Survivor is Edge of Extinction. So that's exactly what it reminded me of. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is like poetic justice right here.
Mhm. Yeah, in true
So
Kelly Wentworth style, we're gonna have the Edge of Extinction.
exactly. That was awesome. I appreciated it.
Yeah, it was fun. It's the first time we have ever done anything like that. So you got to lead the way, be the queen of Seclusion Lake. What did you think about the next handful of people that rolled in? Were you surprised to see who got voted off their parties?
I wasn't surprised that they voted out Anthony and Bill. Now, to me, both of them would have made amazingly loyal allies in the game. But unfortunately, it's in the beginning of this game, it seemed to be more social strategy versus what would actually work for people long term. So I think those two guys left earlier than they should have. I don't think people saw what value that they would have brought to the game had they stuck around. I was definitely surprised to see Bridget come as early as she did. She was a strong player, and maybe that's why she ended up leaving. But you know, I figured she'd be in the finale for sure.
Yeah, a lot of the people that were at Seclusion Lake, I had them like pegged as going super far. So I was really surprised to see all you
Yeah.
guys there too. Our whole mod squad was like, what is going on? Huh. Um, so while you were at Seclusion Lake, you had some big decisions to make. And the first one, which impacted the game a lot later on, and I won't spoil it because you haven't seen it, but you gave Katie half of a compass.
I did. And it
Was
was a no-brainer.
okay,
It
that
was
was gonna be
really a
my
no-brainer.
question.
And I hate to be disloyal to my team, you know, for Team Wentworth, but at what point does loyalty play a factor into my decision when they had all literally just voted me out of the game? And it wasn't like one person said, oh, Jess would make a great ally, so we're going to keep her around. Like it was unanimous. And I understand their logic with, you know, they were concerned about the move and all that, but nobody said, hey, are you prepared for this game? Are you ready? Do you feel like you would contribute? I didn't have the opportunity for that. So they just made assumptions, and it is what it is.
Yep, and you can't assume.
Right.
Yeah, so them assuming ended up dictating something that could have helped them during their game, but instead it helped out Team Janet. So you
Mhm.
gave Katie the first half. Were you influential in Anthony giving her the second half?
Yeah, me and Anthony had conversation prior to us even making a decision that we hoped it would be Katie. And if it was Katie, we would both definitely go for her. So it was even before she even got brought in that night. We were already discussing, like, we hope it's Katie. And if it is Katie, we're on the same wavelength.
Awesome. Did you influence anyone else's decisions giving stuff out?
I don't believe so. I think the third time around, it was more of a unanimous, like we just were all in agreement with who we felt would be the best fit.
Awesome. So you guys didn't stay at Seclusion like too long until you got the news you were gonna do a battle back. So after some bad tribe swaps for some other people, day after you guys are going in as a third party. How excited were you guys? How surprised were you guys to hear that news so soon?
Oh my God. Me personally, I just felt like that night was going to be magic for me. And I went in and I practiced that challenge as soon as we got the video. And I was rocking it. And I did really well during the challenge itself. But, the vote back in, I didn't know that I would actually be voted back in, but my intuition was telling me this is your night and you're getting back in. So that was great. I loved it.
Yeah, your intuition was right. So leading up to that vote, it was kind of I don't, no one knew what was going on. No one wanted to leave the room. I was sitting there watching, like, how the hell are they going to decide who to vote back in? Did you
Yeah.
end up having any like private conversations with anyone? Or what was your strategy
Me
once
and
you did break up?
Anthony, yeah, me and Anthony did go into a room privately. I believe it was by the campfire. I might be wrong on that, but we did go to a room, just him and I. And I'm like, well, we established that we would vote for each other so that at least we had one vote for sure. Because, when he came into Collusion Lake, we formed a really good bond. So we definitely had each other's backs. And I definitely voted for him. And I'm pretty sure he voted for me. I don't know who the votes were yet, but he said he was going to. So I'm pretty confident that he followed through on that. And I have to really give him a big thank you. I haven't been able to talk to him though.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, because the votes for that too were all over the place. I think it was like 4 votes one way and then 2 your way. So you got in by 1 vote, which
yeah,
Anthony, thank you.
yes.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
awesome.
like Bill and Carl were supposed to look out for me, but then Carl got pulled into the seclusion late. What was it? The peak that night when
Yes,
they had
that's right.
players volunteer. He bailed and it was like quick. Like he didn't even give any thoughts. He's like, me.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, I'll hail King Carl.
Yeah, I think
He was gone.
King Carl wanted an advantage.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I
so
wonder if it worked out for him.
you'll find out.
I
But
know,
yeah,
right?
so you were back in on you returned to the Blue Kelly party for one night. Team Janet goes to Crossroads, where you didn't see it yet, so I won't spoil that for you. But something happens, and then the next day, you guys end up losing the challenge.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts as soon as that happened? Did you feel like you had a bullseye, or you could work around it?
No, I definitely felt like I had a bullseye. I came in there, I was the low man on the totem pole. I had just replaced Neil, who they sent out unanimously. So it was definitely a scary situation. However, Joshua didn't show up that night. He was not there. So I felt like I was there, I was present, I was in the conversations, and everybody I spoke to alluded to the fact that Joshua would be the vote that night. I found it interesting that they were trying to figure out if I would use my half compass with Josh. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell anybody what I'm going to do because that's going to be not too beneficial for my own game. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I had a prayer, honestly. They already had their alliance set up at that point. So
Yeah, it's definitely tough, especially coming back as a minority original party member because they have the Janet majority, and coming back as someone that has a known advantage. Um, I think it could have been close though. I know those girls were worried about Josh and wanted him out in the long run, but at that point it still seemed party strong because they didn't know when the
yeah.
rendezvous might happen.
Right. They had their loyalties. I understand. If I was in their position, I probably would have done the same thing. But I felt like I made such a comeback, and and it's funny because I replaced Neil, who in episode 1 was the very first person to say my name. So that in and itself was poetic justice because he's the one that got everybody talking about like, oh, we'll vote Jess out because it's a safe vote. And here I am taking his place coming back into the game. So that was great. I think it was kind
Yeah.
of worth it just for that. I love Neil though.
Yeah, it's a good thing to check off your game accomplishment list. And so on this second vote, is there anything you wish you did different? Do you wish you used your token on this one?
No, absolutely not. Because had I used it, Joshua would have had the power. And then who knows, because he would have had to give me his half for me to be safe. I knew he wasn't going to do that. So the only other option I had at that point was to give him my half, which he was giving me the eye look during that whole crossroads. Like, he kept giving me the look, and I'm like, hell no. I don't trust any of you. I'm not helping no one out at this point.
Do you wish you used your token though? Because you still had that.
No, I didn't at that point. They said that that wasn't playable. So
Oh,
I
I didn't
would
know
have if
that.
I had the token, but no, we weren't able to play it as a player coming back in. I had already lost it at that point.
Oh, that's a rule I didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't end how you wanted, but you got your karma, which is a great way to go out. Now, as a viewer, who are you rooting for that's left in the game?
Mariana, 100%. Go Cleveland.
Yes, go Cleveland, go Team Kelly.
Exactly. I'm playing for Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital of Cleveland, so it'd be great to see Mariana take the win because she
Yeah,
represents Cleveland as well. So
hell yeah, go Cleveland.
yeah. Hashtag CLE.
Yeah, what are the chances? We had 3 people from Cleveland. Always wondered if a
I
Cleveland
know.
alliance was going to form.
Yeah. Had we been on the same party, that could have happened, but it just didn't work out that way.
And that's okay. There's always another time down the road. So if we gave you a call, would you come back to play Second Chances?
Oh, 100%. And the second time around, like, you're going to see a whole different side of Jess.
Hell
There's no
yeah.
pacification. It's going to be aggressive. Like, I'm here to win. And that's it, bitches. Game on.
I like it. Kelly would be proud.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for playing this season. We loved having you. And I think it's awesome that you decided to join in the middle of the move. That is some hella dedication. So thank you from all of us. We had fun watching you and hopefully we see you in the future.
Thank you to all the production and mods and everybody. It was a great experience. I appreciate all of you.
Yay. This has been Back at the Wrench, and we will see everyone next episode.